Test 1, 2. Hope you can hear. Let us kick it off with a dance break. Oops, volume would help.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. Oh, every time I close my eyes, I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear.
We are kicking off with the dance break because we are moving the energy in our space. It doesn't matter how good or how good you dance.
I will be the host of Everyday Christmas. Give track your wish list. I probably pull a Angelina and Brad Pitt and adopt a bunch of babies that ain't never had. Give away a few Mercedes like, here, lady, have this. And last but not least, grant somebody their last wish. It's been a couple months that I've been single, so you can call me Travis Claus minus the ho-ho. Get it? I probably visit with Katrina here. And sure do a lot more than FEMA did. Yeah, can't forget about me, stupid. Everywhere I go, I'ma have my own thing. Every time I close my eyes, what you see, I see my name in shining lights. A different city every night. I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire. When I'm a billionaire. I'll be playing basketball with the president, dunking on his delegates. Then I compliment him on his political etiquette. Toss a couple million in the air just for the heck of it. But keep the 5s, 20s, 10s, and bins completely separate. Yeah, I'll be in a whole new tax bracket. We in recession, but let me take a crack at it. I'll probably take whatever's left and just split it up. So everybody that I love can have a couple bucks. And not a single zombie around me would know what hungry was, eating good, sleeping soundly. I know we all have a similar dream. Go in your pocket, pull out your wallet, put it in the air and sing. I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. What up, Oprah? Oh, every time I close my eyes, what you see, I see my name in shining lights. A different city every night. I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire. When I'm a billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad.
Fantastic. Welcome. Welcome. This is day 5 of the Trash Can Manifestation 5-day challenge. And this is our wrap-up call. Now I was getting some error messages from Zoom as I was logging on. So if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up either visually or with the reaction button? Awesome. Okay, cool. Good. Awesome. Good to know. Fantastic. It has been a week. Holy crap, it's been a week. I am so proud of you guys and the way you've shown up and followed along and done the practices. Whatever you've been bringing to this practice has been absolutely perfect. The structure of this week was designed to be quick and easy, something that you can integrate into your everyday. But if you look at the sum of all of the parts of what we were doing, it was actually some really powerful and really deep work. It just with those like 5-10 minutes a day of, listen and then do, it was enough to bring about this huge energetic shift in yourself, in your reality, in your life, in your world, in your universe. And what we all did was we stepped into some really, really high vibe manifestation. And I think you found that it was maybe easier than you expected and a lot more fun. One of my things with manifestation is finding ways. I mean, it can be completely energetic and like peaceful and just mind and change your energy, but that can be really hard for your brain to understand. And so my method of manifestation sort of removes that hard esoteric bit, and I give you very practical real world things to do that helps your brain go, oh, here's my component, because your hands are busy doing that component. So when I practice manifestation, I sort of have this closed loop system. So everybody thinks of manifesting as like doing the high vibe activities, and there's tons of advice on the internet, like be high vibe all the time, always be happy. And that's that's up here in high vibe. And high vibe is a wonderful place to visit. It's a wonderful place to go, especially if you can get there on a regular basis. But we're human beings. We can't live up there all of the time. So I give you a ton of high vibe activities, but I give them to you with the expectation that like when you're not doing them, you're having a normal human experience. You have days where you stub your toe, where you're running late, where your kid throws a temper tantrum, where your boss is cranky, where you missed an important email, where you have a bad hair day. We get to still be human and continually manifest. So the practices that I gave you this week were all little 5-minute hits of being up here in that high vibe energy. And they also sort of started to perk you along with these micro habits. For example, the shave and release practice. If you spend a whole bunch of time on it, it's absolutely one of those high vibe activities. But if you bring that practice into every shower, where every time you put on face soap, you're giving yourself the message of, I love myself, I love and appreciate myself, I love and appreciate myself, then that's a touch back to that high vibe place. But it's a micro habit because it's just something that's part of your everyday that in a very general sense will raise your vibration and raise your overall happiness. So we've got those high vibe practices, then we've got those micro habits that sort of build us this supportive undercarriage of good vibe and good practices that gives us these little pops of like happiness, joy, high vibe, however you want to put that. Then we have the practices of handling being human. We touched a little bit on that in the trash can practice the first day when we were clearing the negative space. There was room there for all kinds of negative emotions to come up and be expressed as you walked them out the door. So high vibe when you can, micro habits to pull you up to the high vibe for just a second or two at a time, maybe a minute or two, time and space to handle the human emotions and like have a rotten day when you need to and have an awesome day when you need to. And then once you get really good at establishing that, you start to develop the discernment of when you need distraction, when you need to leave that system by itself and come over and distract yourself with something else. This might be a home improvement project or a work goal or a personal finance goal or some other project that's going to keep you busy, keep you active, and keep you out of meddling with this awesome system of high vibe manifestation that you've got cooking in the background. And so when we put that all together, that's when and how we get those massive manifestations. So this week was just a baby practice of high vibe micro habits and handle the human emotion. There's actually so much more that we can chew on here, that we can digest. There are more practices, there are more skills. And with every practice, you get better at like feeling where you are in relation to your manifestations. Any questions so far? Give you a minute to type or to tap in, to think. One of the biggest questions that I had behind the scenes, because I wound up talking to a lot of people in the DMs this week about their journey through the manifestation process, and a lot of the questions that I had centered around, am I doing enough? Is it enough? It was so easy. It was just quick, over and done. And the answer to that question is, yeah, it really does get to be that easy. The practices that I have you set up take a little bit of time and effort in the beginning, and then they just sort of exist as also rans in the background that keep charging up your manifestations and bringing more to you. Another question I got was, what if I don't have time, or what if I fall behind? I had a couple of people who texted me, they're like, I've been watching the videos and I really love them, but I haven't had any time to do them. So that's awesome. That's amazing. There are possibly two things going on. One, it's a busy week because it's the end of year and everybody's trying to like finish all of their projects before the deadlines, finish everything that they need to do around their house before their kids are home for the holiday, finish everything before they need to travel or before their office shuts down, finish before the paperwork that's due on the 30th, whatever. So it could just be that life is busy and you don't have time to do those. In that case, give yourself full permission to like ease off a little bit. These practices will always be here. Find out maybe if you can get some accountability to like circle back and do these practices again, because they really are important. They really are powerful. They really do, when stacked together either in a single day or spread across 5 days like we did, they really do draw you to a different place energetically. Some other people mentioned the fact that, every day they meant to do the practices and they didn't, and they didn't, and they didn't, and they didn't, and they didn't. Possibly what's going on here is what we call resistance. Resistance is for whatever reason, your brain is like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't deserve that. Resistance can be the old patterns arguing for our limitations, where the brain is like, I want, but I can't, but I want, but I can't, but I want, but I can't. That's a thing to handle. That's a thing to handle with support. Like if you're looking at a task and it seems easy and you just can't bring yourself to do the task, then it's time to ask and dig a little bit. Why am I resisting? What does this mean? What is this bringing up for me? And in that moment, that is a moment to handle those human emotions. That's a moment to handle the old stories, the baggage, the trauma, the conditional programming that we all have from living in the patriarchal world culture that we live in. What's going on here? I was chatting with someone in the DMs, and she wound up having so much charge on what was going on that she literally couldn't take out her trash until she handled some of the emotions and the feelings that were coming up, and the conflicts around, the conflicts around wanting to have nice things but not knowing how to get there, the old stories of I'm always in chaos and so I'm always going to be in chaos. And it wound up being a pretty big deep transformation for her. And it took her a couple of days. But when she had done enough emotional work to get to the point that she was able to step into the physical practices, her entire being shifted. Like, just looking at her face, you could see that she had energetically transitioned, that she had moved through what was holding her back and what was keeping her back. It was really, really powerful. So the next question is, where do we go from here? These were a really powerful and really amazing set of tools that I hope that you take and implement. I hope that you take them, carry them forward with you, and continue to use them every single day or week or month or whatever need you have. But this is one set of tools, right? It's a very, very powerful set of tools, and they're very easy to do and very easy to implement and very easy to integrate into everything that you do as part of your regular life. But it's a very limited toolbox. You've gotten just 4 tools that add up to a week of change, but it's just a sample of what's available to you. I have so many more of these practices, and they're all easy to integrate. They're all easy to do. They all work on that same principle of training wheels. So when you learn how to manifest, it's an inside job, right? You're learning how to find that internal emotional balance that allows you to shift the energy one way or the other in order to call in absolutely everything you desire. It's really hard for our brain to understand how to do that. It would be like, here, watch a YouTube video on riding a bike, or here, read a book on riding a bike, and then go figure it out. Riding a bike takes internal balance, and like, your brain doesn't understand how to ask your muscles to do that until you've actually ridden a bike. Whether you were a little kid and you had somebody like running behind you to hold the bike up as you learned it, or your parents put training wheels to sort of help and guide you. You know, first the training wheels were flat on the ground so that you could figure out the mechanics of pedaling the bike and moving forward. Once you got that, the training wheels came up off the ground a little bit so that they would catch you and you wouldn't fall, but the training wheels sort of gave more of the responsibility for that internal balance to your body, to your muscles, and your brain went, oh, I have to handle that balance part. I have to move my muscles this way to find the balance. And then you raise the training wheels a little more and let your body and your brain handle that internal balance of riding the bike until you can remove the training wheels altogether. The practices that I give you both this week on the YouTube channel and when you step into a larger container with me are the training wheels. They're just toys, they're just tricks. You don't need any of them to practice manifestation. Like, you can just sit and decide you want something and call it in. But it's kind of hard to understand how to do that because your brain is like, how is this different than my normal internal monologue that runs all day? Like, how do I do that, right? So that's why so many people wind up going to mainstream books and media and whatever to learn about law of attraction and walk away going, huh? But how do I actually do that? So my practices are all designed to give you something physical to do with your hands, with your body, with your home, with your space. My practices all give you something to do to help your brain understand what the energetic component is. So like, emptying the trash can wasn't actually the important thing going on. Emptying the trash can gave you something to do with your hands so that your brain understood the energetic component of removing the negative space carrying it out of your home, cleansing your space. All of those things were physical things to do to help your brain understand how to shift into that space of, I'm in alignment with the universe and I'm asking to receive what it is that I desire. When you step into a program with me, we do this kind of journey literally every single week. There's help and there's guidance, there's practices. And when you are in a small container like my mastermind that's coming up, you get my hands, my manifesting magic hands on your day-to-day life. When you bump into roadblocks, when you bump into resistance, you jump on a call, on the next group call, and you actually get time for one-to-one hot seat coaching. And while you're on the call and everybody else is having their turn, you get to listen with greedy ears because they're asking questions that you also have. And when you listen to their answers, sometimes it's so much easier to hear what you need to learn, what you need to do when it's not your butt in the hot seat. Yeah. There is such a journey unfolding before you. No matter what you're going to get from today till 6 months from here. The question is, are you going to do that as the same version of you that existed yesterday, plodding along through the old stories, through the old patterns, asking for things and not receiving them? Or are you going to learn how to shift into powerful, high vibe manifestation and attract at the fastest, most aligned rate possible? Are you going to spend the next 6 months learning how to modulate your energy, learning how to do the tools, learning how to shift the experience into what you desire? I adore you all. I am so excited to see how far you've come this week. And I'm so excited to see how far those of you who step into the mastermind are going to go in the next 6 months. Because with tools like these, with practices like these, with support like this, you're not going to recognize where you are. 6 months from now, you're going to look back and go, I remember that, but man, that feels like an alien planet compared to where I am now, compared to what's been going on and how fast and how wonderfully things come to me with these practices. Yeah, I'm so excited to welcome those of you who come in to the Manifestation Masterclass with me. It is a 6-month program. There are weekly group coaching calls. There are weekly modules. We have a WhatsApp group thread. So that means text access to everyone in the group to upride, to support, to enjoy, but also that's where I'm going to be hanging out, answering questions that are so pressing they can't wait until the next group call, being present, being visible, upriding you, helping you every day shift that energy. This is such a powerful experience. And because you guys have done the Trash Can Manifestation 5-day challenge, there will be a $300 off coupon that I will email to you after I have made it, because I forgot to do that part. Does anyone have any questions? questions about the week that we just did, questions about the upcoming Manifestation Masterclass that will run for 6 months, any questions at all, feel free to tap in.
I don't think my service is very good, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but I just want to say this has been really awesome. I'm so excited about everything that I've learned so far and putting it into practice, and I can't wait to work with you more.
All right, Maria, I can see that you are talking, but I can't hear.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better? No, terrible service.
Oh no, I can't hear. I'm accepting, I see that you're driving, so it's probably a reception thing. If you would like, when you get somewhere, you can pop it in the chat, or maybe if you stop your video feed, it would give us enough audio reception, but safely, because driving.
Okay, does that work? Can you hear me now? No. Damn.
Elizabeth, can you hear her?
Oh, rural living.
You can. So the problem is me. Settings, what's going on? I do not know. Okay, Elizabeth, you could hear Maria. Can you unmute and repeat her question to me? Oh, I heard a laugh. I heard a laugh.
Okay, we've got it. Can you hear me?
We got it.
All right. I just wanted to say that I really loved this whole week of practice, and I'm so excited to apply these techniques in my life, and just I love working with you, and I can't wait to work with you more. You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It has been a pleasure to have you with us. It's been a pleasure to watch your transformation, to watch your journey. I'm so proud of you. I'm seriously so proud of you.
I'm proud of myself too.
Yes. All of the celebration. All right. Any questions about what we've done so far this week?
I have not actually gotten to the listing my desires part yet, so I'm going to try and get to that this weekend. But I will message you in the group if I come up with any questions. I feel like that might be the most challenging part for me. So
yeah, if you run into any difficulties, lighten up a little bit. Don't think that you have to sit down and ask for absolutely everything you've ever wanted and cosmically sit here and envision the whole vision of what your perfect future is going to be. Look at the small little shit. Ask for a cup of coffee, ask for a favorite pen, ask for a notebook, ask for stickers, all of the dumb things. And when you ask for a bunch of little dumb things, they add up to a big picture of what you want. And they also make it safe for you to then ask for the big things. So sometimes, because we're so used to not asking for what we want, we have so many desires stuffed down that we go to say what we want. We're because we're choking on desires, and literally we need to express them all. We need to say them all. We need no desire is too small, no desire is too big. But a lot of times, if we're holding back on asking for what we want and have for a really long time and in a really long way, then we get used to playing small, and we get used to being tucked away from our desires and really really contained and far back. And if you just like give yourself permission to start asking for the little things sort of relax things and unstop the dam and open things up and bring us closer and clearer and into more focus. And then when we've said enough, then we can say what the big desires are, the thing that's like behind all of those little desires. It really can be a practice of excavation, and it can be something just to come back to again and again. There are times when I sit down and I write a desire list every single day, whether it's because I've got so much backlog or because every day is such a shift, every day is such a change. From one day to the next, I've energetically changed into a different person, into a different version of me. Because yesterday I didn't have yesterday's experiences. Today I have yesterday's experiences. And so they make me just a little bit different version of me. And tomorrow I'm going to be just a little bit different as well. And so every time I ask, I'm asking from a slightly new place. I'm asking from a slightly truer place. I'm asking from a slightly more accurate place. And it gets to be more powerful and more integrated. And another thing, people are like, oh, I'm writing a desire list, I can't repeat anything. That's not the case at all. Whatever your brain is supplying to you in the time that you're writing that desire list that's what you need to ask for in the same moment. So like sometimes when I am writing a desire list, I want the dirt off of my floors will come up 16 times. And I'm like, yes, I get it. I will run the vacuum. I will hit the button and Stabby will like go do his thing and gobble up the dirt. I get it. But the fact that I want the dirt removed from the floor has showed up so many times. That desire needs to be witnessed. Like that desire needs to be expressed, and it is going to fuck some shit up until I ask for the dirt to be off my floors enough times that like I can get off my ass and go hit the button to send the robot around to do the vacuuming. It like every time a desire comes up, it's coming up because it needs to be spoken, it needs to be witnessed, it needs to be acknowledged, it needs to be out in the world. And you know, when you finish the list, if you look through and you see something that's on there 3, 4, 5, 6 times, that's a really good indication that your subconscious is trying to tell you, hey, this is important. This is a big one. This is really, really, really important to me. And usually, almost always, it's something that's like so dumb. You're like, this is not a hard concept. I can load the dishwasher. It doesn't even cost me money. Why is this such a big deal? But it's a big deal. And your subconscious is telling you that it's a big deal by asking again and again and again and again. Now,
I feel like that's really interesting too, because you're saying like both of those examples were things you could give yourself. And
yeah.
like, I think a lot of times that's like the hardest thing for me to do is to give myself what I want, and writing that down and seeing it and being like, yes, all I have to do is push the button and I can have what I want.
Yes.
And it's all that easy.
It really is. It really is. It doesn't matter if you're manifesting a button or a castle. It's all just a matter of figuring out what you want and figuring out what it takes to allow it. The allowing thing is an interesting piece. And you know, there's something on my desire list. It's been on my desire list for about 10 years. At this house, the door between my living room and my garage is an interior door, like you would hang to your bedroom or, you know, to your bathroom. Like it's an interior door. And all winter, you can feel the cold just rushing through that door because it's an interior door to an unheated garage. And it has literally been on my list for 10 years. So I've probably written new living room door on my desire list at least 100 times, at least 100 times. But every time I've asked for it, I've asked as a slightly different, as in a slightly different energy, in a slightly different way. I think back to when it was first on my list, and there was a lot of, why would the previous people like not hang a real door there? And there was also the energy of, oh my God, that is such expensive work. How can I ever afford to hire that out? And there was also the like, all the oil that I'm wasting by losing heat in this way. And like, then there was the shift where it was like, I could afford the door, but then I don't know how to do the work. So that was another layer. And every time I'm asking, like, more and more of this resistance is peeling back. And now where I am is, oh, I can just hire someone to put that door in. Oh, I can just have a door put in. And also, it's literally been years since my oil burner has run out of oil. So like all of that intensity and all of that fear has like eased up. And like now I can feel like I don't have that gnawing fear of I'm not going to be able to keep my house warm. I don't have that gnawing fear of how can I afford this, or I can't do this work myself, or the anger of why did they do such a dumb thing. Now I'm in a place where it's like, yes, I want that new door, but it's really, really easy to heat my house. It's really easy to buy oil. It's really easy to buy firewood, and it's not a big deal if I keep things a little extra warm to compensate for that door. I don't actually have time to deal with the door right now, and fixing the shower is more of an issue. I'll get to the door. The door will arrive in the perfect time. And that shift in energy tells me that like, I'm ready for the door. I'm finally ready for the door. It's taken me 10 years of asking to get through all of the over this door. But like having gone through that energetic journey, now I'm ready. But here's the thing. While I was doing that energetic journey over the door, there were all of these other things that I manifested. I manifested a $22,000 piano. I manifested an $8,000 roof. I manifested a $50,000 car. I manifested a daily driver. Like, and that's just like the last 2 years. That's like a skim of what I've manifested in the last 2 years, because I was using my tools and I was working my practices where I'm not like zeroed in, just manifesting one thing at a time. I like to back the focus up, relax things, and ask for absolutely everything, which gives you the most room. Like when you zero all the way in on that one thing, you're like blocking all of the other things so you can focus on that one thing. But meanwhile, there's a whole world of stuff over here that's like trying to show up and trying to be part of your life. So if you step into these practices that I do the way that I do them, you sort of open everything up, and you're tending multiple plants in the garden, and none of them need more than just a little bit of attention here and there, and the whole garden blooms. And maybe there's that one tomato plant in the corner that's withering and takes the 10 years to come to be. But while that tomato plant is growing, the zucchinis are growing crazy, and so are the peas, and so are the green beans, and so are the radishes, and so are the herbs. And like, you've got a bounty, a surplus going on over here, while that one tomato plant struggles to find the right pH in the soil to grow you that perfect cherry tomato. But meanwhile, you've got so much zucchini, it's coming out of your ears, and you're like giving it to all of your neighbors and baking zucchini bread and freezing it to put in the, like, you've got all of this bounty that's coming in, and you wind up energetically with enough to share. Like it, when we talk about manifesting, you feel it, like sometimes it feels like we're being selfish, like we're being self-centered, and like I'm just tending what I want. But what happens when you grow that garden of manifestation, you get to such a good place that you're coming from a place of surplus, and your goodness just ripples out in the world, and all of the people around you feel the good of the work. So like, you're no longer just manifesting for you, you're also manifesting high vibe for everybody else. It's So powerful. So powerful.
Clearly,
Try it one more time, Maria.
I said clearly you've grown zucchini before.
Actually, I have a black thumb. I'm terrible at gardening. I have read all of the garden books, and man, I can kill mint. I can tell you the difference between four-season gardening with cold frames and French intensive method versus square foot garden versus lasagna versus permaculture versus traditional farming versus organic. Like, I know all of the growing things, but I never stay home long enough to tend a garden.
And this is why we need community, because we all have our talents and our faults.
Exactly. It's true. It's very true. Ah. All right, I'm gonna pop the link to the Master Manifestation Mastermind page so you can check out all of the details. I know that everybody is driving at the moment. It will be in the comments on the YouTube video, and it will also come around in an email with your coupon for $300 off. Last call for questions. Questions. All right. And we are going to dance it out.
Give it to me, I'm worth it. Baby, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Give me, I'm worth it. Give it to me, I'm worth it. Baby, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Give me, I'm worth it. Okay, I tell her bring it back like she loves some. Bring it back like she loves some. In the club with the lights off, but you acting shy for. Come and show me that you're with it, with it, with it, with it, with it. Stop playing, now you know that I'm with it, with it, with it, with it, with it, with it. What you acting shy for? Just give me you, just give me you, just give me you. That's all I wanna do. And if what they say is true, if it's true, I'ma give it to you. I may take a lot of stuff, guaranteed I can back it up. I think I'ma call you bluff. Hurry up, I'm waiting out front. You see me in the spotlight, ooh, I love your style. Show me what you got, cause I don't wanna waste my time. See me in the spotlight, ooh, I love your style. Show me what you got now, come and make it worth my while. Give it to me, I'm worth it. Baby, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Give me, I'm worth it. Give it to me, I'm worth it. Baby, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Give me, I'm worth it. It's all on you, it's all on you, it's all on you. So what you wanna do? And if you don't have a clue, not a clue, I'll tell you what to do. Come harder just because I don't like it too soft. I like it a little rough, not too much, but maybe just enough. You see me in the spotlight, ooh, I love your style. Show me what you got, cause I don't wanna waste my time. See me in the spotlight, ooh, I love your style. Show me what you got now, come on, make it worth my while. Give it to me, I'm worth it. Baby, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Give me, I'm worth it. Give it to me, I'm worth it. bring it back like she loves some. Bring it back like she loves some. In the club with the lights off, but you acting shy for. Come and show me that you're with it, with it, with it, with it.